Alright, so today we're going to do, start off with a quick review. 3 questions. I want you guys to have a line paper out, and do not have to copy these questions down, but just want you to see if you could try to answer each of them with 1 or 2 sentences. So the first one says, what is the rule for adding 2 numbers of different signs? So basically, like, if you're adding 2 numbers of different signs, how would you explain to someone how to do that without using a number line? And the same thing for number 2. What's the rule for adding 2 numbers of the same sign? And then lastly, what's the rule for subtracting integers? I want you to try your best to see if you can try to answer those 3 questions on your own. Maybe spend about 3 or 4 minutes trying to come up with the answer for them. And then I'll go over it. You could look at your old notes if you need to also. Alright, so hopefully you guys were able to come up with some answers for that. We'll go over here. And the reason I want to go over it because it's going to help us with the lesson today, but you guys will also have a quiz tomorrow, so that is important to review this. So you guys ready for that? Okay, so the first one says, what's the rule for adding 2 numbers of different signs? So remember, if you're adding a positive number and a negative number, and thinking about the number line, you know they're going in different directions, right? So you know they're going to go against each other. So what you got to do, hopefully you guys remember, is you do the bigger arrow, or the number with the bigger arrow, subtract the number with the smaller arrow, and then you keep the sign of the bigger one. So let me write that out real quick. So subtract the bigger number smaller number, and keep a sign of bigger number. So make sure you guys write this yours also if you don't have it already. And I'll just do a quick little example. So I got negative 6 plus 9. Do the bigger number, which in this case is 9, because 9 is bigger than 6. 9 take away 6 is 3. And since the bigger one, 9, is positive, the answer is going to be positive 3, not negative 3. Second one, what's the rule for adding 2 numbers of the same sign? So what if you're adding 2 negative numbers? Right there, remember, in this case, both arrows are going to go the same way, right? It's going to go either to the right and to the right even more, or go to the left and to the left even more, depending on if it's positive or negative. But so the arrows are both going in the same direction, so it's like you're kind of combining them. So if you're adding 2 numbers of the same sign, just simply add the 2 numbers and keep the sign. So for example, negative 2 plus negative 6. Right here, you're going to do 2 plus 6 is 8. But since they're both negative, it's going to be negative 8. And you can always kind of check your work using a number line, or visualizing using a number line, right? Go back 2 and go back 6 more. Okay, so then what's the rule for subtracting integers? So basically, what's the rule for subtracting positive and negative numbers? So remember, what we want to do here is we want to rewrite as, I'm going to put this part in quotes because that's the important part. Rewrite as adding the opposite. So say you got 10 minus 15. Say you saw that problem on the quiz. You need to rewrite it as adding the opposite. What's the opposite of this number? The opposite of 15 is negative 15, right? Then once you get here, it's just like one of the 2 problems above. Are they the same sign or different sign? They're different signs, right? You got a positive and a negative now. So you do the bigger one, which in this case is 15. Take away the smaller one. 15 take away 10 is 5. But since the bigger one is negative, the answer has to be negative 5. So hopefully that kind of jogs your memory a little bit. So now we're going to be looking at lesson 7. So we're skipping 6. I want everybody to go to lesson 7. pause the video for you guys to get there. Alright, so the learning target for today says I can add and subtract mixed numbers using the number line. So remember, mixed numbers, we've dealt with that recently, is like where you have a whole number and a fraction together. So for example, 5.5 is a mixed number. So we're going to be dealing with some fractions and mixed numbers. Looking at the first problem, again, this is lesson 7, if you guys aren't there. It says, suppose the 7th grader's birthday is today. She is 12 years old. How old was she 3.5 years ago? Here it says, write an equation and use the number line model, or number line to model your answer. Alright, so here we'll do the equation right here. If she's 12 years old, right, you put 12, but we're saying how old was she 3.5 years ago? So for the equation, you could do plus negative 3.5 because you're going back 3.5, or you could do 12 minus 3.5. Remember, we know those are basically the same thing, right? I want you guys to think about what would the answer be if you got 12 and you're taking away 3.5. Think about that for a second. So hopefully you guys maybe have an answer. We'll go over it in a second. But at the bottom, what we're going to first do is we're going to model it on the number line. So on the number line here, let's write 12 there, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. We'll put a negative there, but we don't have to go over to the negative side because we know we're not dealing with any negative numbers. Or we know we're going to first start by going 12 to the right? So everybody start at 0, go to the right by 12. And then going back 3.5, right? So how do we go back 3.5? Well, first we could go back 1, 2, 3, right? We're at 9. But we got to go back another half, where we end up right here. What would this be? That's in the middle of 8 and 9, right? What's in the middle of 8 and 9? 8.5. So here, let's draw that arrow so that we're in the middle of 8 and 9. Right here, right? So the answer is 8.5. I know a lot of you guys would think it's 9.5 because what you did is you did 12 take away 3 is 9. And then you still got the half, right? But remember here, you're taking away 3 from 12 is 9. But then you still got to take away another half. So you have 9, you take away another half. You would have 8.5. And again, you can see that on the number line. 9.5 would be in between 9 and 10. And we'll do more practice with that. Let's hope you guys get a little bit better with it. Alright, so here, I want you guys to try to do this one here. Try to get the answer to this using the number line first. I'll pause the video and you guys try to see what you guys are doing wrong. Alright, so hopefully you guys were able to get your answer on your own first. So first here, we're at 0, we go back 2.5. 1, 2, 2.5, right? So that's been in between -2 and -3. Then we're going to go forward 5. I'm just going to draw the little dashes to kind of show where we're going first. So we're right here, right? In red. We're at that red mark. We're going forward 5. So if I go forward 1, I'm not going to go all the way to here, right? That's more than 1. If I'm in the middle, right? If I take 1 step to the right, I'm going to be right there. I'm still in the middle, though. That's 1. 2, 3, 4, 5. So where do we end up? At 2.5, right? Hopefully you guys can see that. We're right here. We take 1 step. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So our answer is 2.5. I also want to show you guys how you could do it without the number line, though. So if I'm doing here, let me erase the answer here real quick, though. I'll put it down here at 2.5. But let's think about this is the same rule at the beginning of class, or the beginning of the video I just talked about. We're adding two numbers of different signs, right? So you do the bigger one, which is 5 in this case, take away the smaller one, 2.5. Here you do 5, take away 2 is what? 3. But you still got to take away another half. If you have 3, right, and you take away a half. It's like if you have $3 and you spend half of a dollar, you're still going to have $2.50 or $2.50. So 2.5. So again, make sure you guys are writing this down. Might have you guys submit it for points also. Alright, so let's do some more practice with these problems. Let's see. So the next part, we got 1, take away 2 1/4, right? Or subtract. What's the first thing we always want to do when it's a subtraction problem? Right here, we're going to rewrite as adding the opposite. So instead of subtracting 2 1/4, it's going to become 1 plus what's the opposite of 2 1/4? Negative 2 1/4. Okay. So then, but what do I do from there? Are we adding numbers of the same sign or a different sign? Well, we got one positive and one negative, right? So we're adding numbers of different signs. What's the rule when adding number of different signs? You do the bigger one, take away the smaller one. Which one's bigger? 2 1/4 is bigger than 1. So we're going to do, let's write this out, bigger number. This hashtag is short for number. So bigger number, subtract smaller number. Just 2 1/4, take away 1. What's 2 1/4 take away 1? Right here we could just subtract, work with the whole numbers first. What's 2 take away 1? It's gonna get us 1, right? But I still got that 1/4. So it's gonna be 1 and 1/4. So again, a good strategy if you're dealing with mixed numbers, a mixed number here and a whole number, just worry about the whole numbers first. You're doing 2 take away 1 is 1, but you still got that 1/4, right? So it's gonna be 1 and 1/4. So put 1 1/4 there. But is the answer gonna be positive or negative? Look back up here. Which one's bigger? The negative one's bigger, right? So the answer is gonna be negative 1 and 1/4, because negative number was bigger. Alright, so let's see. We can wait, let's do the number line for that. 1 plus negative 2 1/4. Alright, we rewrote it as 1 plus negative 2 1/4. You guys hear the baby in the background. You know that baby. Alright, so here we're gonna do 0 1 2 3, negative 1 negative 2 negative 3. We're gonna go forward 1, then we're gonna go back 2 1/4, right? Go back 1 2 and 1/4, so a little bit more. Show that right there. Oh, so what would that be? That would be negative 1 and 1/4. Because we went back 2 and we went back another 1/4, so that makes that 1/4 right there. Some parts of this is a little confusing, but it'll be less confusing with more practice. Alright, so look at the next part. Exercise 3. So negative 5 1/2 subtract negative 8. So once again, I really want to reiterate to you guys or emphasize to you guys. Whenever it's a subtraction, right? What do we subtract? We gotta change the addition, but change to adding the opposite. So here we're subtracting -8. So wait, before we even do a thing, let's keep that first number the same. Super important you guys keep that first number the same. Again, since this is a subtraction problem, we're going to change it to adding the opposite. What are we subtracting here? We're subtracting -8. So now we're adding the opposite of -8. What's the opposite of -8? +8. So let's try to do this one without the number line first. So once again, we got a negative and a positive. Two numbers of different signs. You do the bigger one, which is 8, take away the smaller one, right? So 8 take away 5 is 3, but you still have to take away another half. Like I think we had a problem like this earlier. You have $3 and you take away half of a dollar, so 2.5. But is it going to be positive or negative? Looking back at your addition problem, which one's bigger? The positive, right? So that means your answer is going to be positive 2.5. Now let's prove it on the number line. You go back 5.5, and then you go forward 8. If I'm right here at 1, remember we're in the middle. Each step will still be in the middle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So where's that? Is that 2.5? Yes, right. So let me just do that real quick. 2.5. And you guys can always rewind the video a little bit if you're a little confused, or ask a question. All right, so we got 4 more practice problems. Right here, so find the following sum and differences using a number line model. Remember, sum is just the answer to an addition problem. Difference is the answer to a subtraction problem. But remember, our subtraction problems, we just change it to addition anyway. Okay, so we're going to try to do this problem on our own first before we do it on the number line. So here, are we going to combine, are we going to add these two, or are we going to subtract them? Remember, I know it has a plus sign, but you only add them if they're both the same sign. Here, they're different signs, right? So you're going to do the bigger one. 6 is bigger than 5 1/4, right? So you do the bigger one, take away the smaller one. 6 take away 5 1/4. 6 take away 5 is 1. But you still have to take away 1/4 from it. This part can be a little tricky. If you have one whole and you take away 1/4, some of you guys could get it kind of easily. Some of you guys are a little confused by it. If you know it's 3/4, that's good. If you're confused on why it's 3/4, I'm going to show you guys why. So, if you remember when we were subtracting fractions, we want to first change this whole number into a fraction also. I'm going to change 1 to 4/4. Remember, 4 out of 4 is 1 whole, right? Whenever you got the same number on top and bottom, that means that's 1 whole. Because right here, what's 6 divided by 6? 1. Same thing for right here. 4 divided by 4 is 1. That's why 4/4 is the same as 1 whole. The reason I changed it to 4/4 is because now we can easily subtract. Remember, when we subtract fractions, the denominator, we want them to be the same. So 4/4 take away 1/4, you do 4 take away 1 is 3. And the bottom is 4. But our answer is not going to be 3/4. It's going to be what? Look at the original problem. Which one's bigger, the positive or the negative? The negative, right? So the answer is going to be negative 3/4. And let's real quick show that on the number line. So we don't have to do all the numbers here. We don't start at 0 over here, since we know we're going to go to the left side, or the negative side. So we go back to -6, then we go forward 5 1/4, right? Let me draw the, I'm not sure what these are called, but you go forward 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this part here, let's break it up into fourths. We go 5 1/4. I know that's kind of hard to see. 5 and a fourth. So this would be, how far is this from 0? This is 1/4, 2/4, 3/4 from 0. So that's why it's negative 3/4. So yeah, this is where our answer is. Probably should have drew that one a little bit bigger, but hopefully, here, let me. I'm gonna kind of like magnify that part. So let's say this is 0, this is negative 1, right? If we went back 5, we're right here. But we still gotta go back another fourth. So I want to break this part into fourths. This is negative 1/4, negative 2/4, negative 3/4, right? And then negative 1 is the same as negative 4/4. So we go back 5, then we gotta go back another fourth, which gets us a negative 3 1/4, or 3/4. In a problem like this one, this is probably a little easier to just do it like this way, because the number line could be a little confusing. But I want you guys to be able to do it both ways. Let's look at B. So we got 7 subtract negative 0.9. Once again, it's a subtraction problem, right? What are we subtracting here? We're subtracting, well, let's keep that first number the same. We're subtracting negative 0.9. So now we're going to add, what's the opposite of negative 0.9? Positive 0.9. This one's pretty easy. I can do 7. If you have 7, actually here, if you want to line this up and add them, remember, 7 is the same as 7.0, right? Or 7.0. When you're adding or subtracting decimals, you gotta line up the decimals like that. So you get 7.9. Think about it a little bit easier. It's also, you have $7 and this here is 90 cents. That's $7.90. Another way to write $7.90 is 7.90. But 7.9 works also. Quick number line for this one. I'm just gonna, it's right here. We're at 7. Actually, let me fix that. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Go forward 7. Go forward another 0.9. So we're at 7.9. Again, I'm gonna move on to the next part. If you need a pause the video for that, for you guys to copy it down, feel free to do that. Alright, last we got last 3 problems. 2.5 plus negative half. So 2.5 is the same as, I want you guys to know that 0.5 is the same as half. It's like 50 cents. This is 50 cents, or this is 50 cents. A lot of times you see like this because the extra 0 isn't necessary. So 0.5 is 50 cents, which is half of $1. So I'm going to just rewrite this as 2.5 plus negative half. Alright, so here, kind of like earlier when we just add the whole numbers, we could just focus on the fractions for now. Right here we have half plus negative half, right? What's half plus negative half? I should get a 0. Also, remember how we did 5 plus a negative 5 is 0 because they're opposites or they're additive inverses? Same thing here. So they kind of cancel each other out. All we got left is 2. Let's prove that on the number line real quick. We go forward 2.5. Then we go back half. So where we end up at? Back at 2, right? Good. Alright, D. Same sign or different sign? They're different signs, right? So we do the bigger one, take away a smaller one. So we do 4, take away a fourth. Let me do a quick visual for this real quick. And I'll show you the other way. So imagine this is 4, right? But what are we taking away? We're taking away 1/4. So we're taking away just 1/4. This is 1/4, right? 1 out of 4. So we take away that and put an X on that part. So we take away that, right? What's left? I still got 1, 2, 3. I don't have 4 anymore, right? I have 3 and what? 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. So we should get 3 and 3/4. And if you're a little confused on that, what we could do is we can change that 4 to this. You might be a little confused on where that came from. Real quick, what's 4 over 4 again? That's 1 whole, right? And this is 3. What's 3 plus 1 whole? 4. So I pretty much just rewrote 4 as a different, or as a kind of like a mixed number. Alright, let me say that one more time. 4 over 4 is 1 whole, plus 3 is 4. So we just rewrote this as that. The reason we did that is because now I can easily do 4/4, take away 1/4, right? Which is what? 3/4. And don't forget the whole number. So we got 3 and 3/4. Yeah, I don't know, a lot of you guys kind of struggle with fractions and mixed numbers. Just gotta try your best. Our E is going to be the last problem here. This one's pretty easy. Again, it's a subtraction problem, right? What are we subtracting? -3. So we're going to change it to adding. What's the opposite of -3? +3. This is easy. What's half plus 3? If you're adding a whole number plus a fraction, you can just put it together. It's like if you have half a dollar and 3 more dollars. That means you got 3.5. We don't got to worry about a number line for that one. Alright, so what I want you guys to do for the rest of the class, just try your best on this. We'll go over it eventually, but to the next part, I want you guys to do A, B, and C. They're word problems, but what you're going to do is, based on the word problem, you're going to try to write an equation, just like what we just saw and dealt with earlier, and draw a number line to show the answer. So you're writing an equation and then doing the number line for this. Remember, negative numbers represent owing. So I'll start you guys off with this real quick. Samantha owes her father $7, right? So it starts off with a -7, but then she got paid to $5.50. So that means you're adding $5.50. All right, you guys try to see if you can find the answer out on your own, and then you can use the number line to help you out. And just try your best on this. We'll go over it tomorrow also, but it's important you guys try to do the problems on your own first. It's okay if you're a little confused. I just need you guys to put some effort in. Alright, so again, you guys are doing A, B, and C. You guys will hear from me tomorrow. Bye.